Okay, so I want to start the main subject of today in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. That's because it take people normally filter in a little bit late. So if you have any questions in fact, yeah, does anyone have any questions that they'd like to go through until we get going with the main thing? So Daniel's picking up his new Tesla Model 3 this evening. Yes! Good boy. Good boy. I mean, good man. Make sure you join the Tesla owners Facebook group. That's quite handy if you ever have any things.
Oh yeah. I'm over the moon. So excited. Can't wait. Really
Nice.
can't wait.
You picking up from Dartford or the Heathrow?
Yeah,
The Dartford one. Nice.
Said, yes. 4 o'clock we've got appointments. So I don't know. I'll probably go there like an hour early and just stand outside the window, just wait there, like wave.
Amazing. What color? What spec?
Deep blue. Deep blue. Blue one. Yeah. Long range. I usually have all my cars are black, so I thought this time I'll kind of put some color in it.
Nice. And what wheels did you go for?
So just for standard ones, the aero ones. I kind of like it because when you take the plastic bits off, they look really good. So I think and that's the 2021 version, this one. So we have the heated steering wheel and the whole facelift thing. Yeah, it should be pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good. So can't wait. Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna join that Tesla group.
Okay, so the next question is from Rob, who Rob, what will the price of Bitcoin be in 1 year? Joke. I have no idea. But it's actually it does raise a good point actually, because I've been talking a lot about the logarithmic regression band for Bitcoin and how we're getting towards the red zone, so to speak, and also the stock to flow model. And those two modeling or price modeling models, they're indicating a correction, well, a consolidation at least around sort of Christmas, January time. God, I don't know what's going on in my head today. And then typically what happens is we have couple of years or a year or two of consolidating, where a lot of people are expecting, big corrections, and myself included. However, the more I think about this, I'm starting to wonder if there really will be a correction. And the reason being is that the whole sort of the market is a lot different than the previous 3 halvings, where it's now an established financial asset. We now have massive banks piling in. We've got Grayscale Investments that have got well over $35 billion of crypto. And I think we are on the precipice of a wave of corporates, as in big blue chip companies, allocating a small percentage of their capital reserves into crypto. And so what that does is it firms up the base of crypto. And therefore, and when I say firms up the base, I mean it just makes this, the floor a lot harder. Because what will happen is that there'll be loads of, big companies probably having loads of buy orders in, so that if crypto gets to $50, 50k or 45k, etc., they'll be pumping in, multi-millions or billions of buy orders. Hey, Kat, good to see you. Long time no see. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure at the moment. For a long time, I thought around January there will be a bit of a pullback, but I'm reassessing my opinion as we speak, and that's the key thing with me. I don't know if you've probably noticed, my thoughts, opinions, and stances on things are very fluid, always fluid. I think it's stupid to get entrenched in your own idiocies or biases, and you have when new data presents itself, you have to shift. And I think that's a trait that a lot of good traders possess. I mean, we see on Facebook, I mean, there's God knows how many Facebook fights and debates, and on any topic. It could be about parenting, health, vaccines, whatever. And when you sort of look at all these fights on Facebook, you'll see that 90% of people are blissfully unaware of how they form their opinions and beliefs. Normally they're forming it on no data or very flimsy data at best. And so, yeah, you have to continually interrogate the data set from which you form your opinions. So, but hey, that's just me. And yeah, so I am continually interrogating the data set from which I'm forming my crypto opinions on. Even though I do, a big part of me still thinks, is just waiting for a crypto fallout, 50% pullback. And if it does, I sort of, and part of me knows that this is a cognitive bias because I want it to happen. I freaking want cryptos to crash. So I can pile in. I want to buy the dip and borrow the dip. So, yeah. Right. I think we should crack on now with the main topic. And the main topic today is about my daily routine. And I'm saying this with a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but we see this all the time. If you're watching anyone on YouTube or some sort of guru furu or whatever, they're like, hey, this is my morning routine, and I wake up at 4 a.m. and I have 10 smoothies and do 1 million press-ups, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. Just like, just kidding. Honestly, my brain is like I instantly just distrust that person, And I think there's a massive wave of people like posting their selfies at 4 a.m, in their jogging outfit and stuff like that. And I see why it's happened, because you have people like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone, 10x, 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 and I think Tony Robbins is a big fan of waking up super early. But you then have to, context is everything. Everyone has diurnal rhythm. They're different diurnal rhythms, and we all have our different diurnal dips. Now, typically most humans have a diurnal dip around sort of 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, because that's, we have lunch, blood flows to the stomach, and blood, and then, most of our energy is digesting food, etc. So we have a bit of a dip. But everyone's different when it comes to their sleeping patterns, and I've read a lot about sleeping patterns, and there are 4 distinct, diurnal rhythms that people have, and there's 2 types of early morning people, and there's 2 types of night owl type people, and you just can't change who you are, and you really can't. So yes, for some people, maybe a lot of people, waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, going for a freaking run and whatever, may well be the best solution to do. But for a lot of people, it's just horrendous. And I hate mornings. I really do. I know. By the way, I've read all the books out there about, was it Hal Elrod, Morning Miracle? I read that and I was like, okay, I'm going to give it my best shot. And I went full on and 5 a.m. mornings and whatever. But what happened was I became increasingly more tired, increasingly less productive, increasingly worse in just, my mood was actually worse. Even though I was trying to get all the endorphins, from exercise and stuff. And so I think you just have to have a deep, dark look, or just a deep look in yourself and who you are. It's worth reading about your sleep personalities. Just Google sleep personalities, and you'll realize, everyone's a bit different. I'm just going to mute everyone for the moment. Participants, mute everyone? I don't know. Don't know how to mute. I'm still getting used to I've been using Zoom for 2 years now. I still don't know all the functions. And so for me, I'm a really big night owl. So I'm going to share my screen and share exactly what I do, because I want to massively pop the bubble, that the misinformation bubble that you can't be successful unless you wake up early, because it's absolute bollocks. So here is me. Okay, so let's just draw a line, and we will start. We'll start my morning, which typically... okay, so first little caveat is that Ellie and I had... I think it's fair to say everyone has marital issues at some points. And we had marital issues at various points. I mean, we've been together for like 12 years. But the biggest fights that we've ever had are all about our routine, like who's getting up early. Pretty much it's nothing major, but it's all about who's getting up, etc. So we now have this rota, and if you are married And especially if you have kids, that my biggest rule, it's not even a business tip, this is my biggest tip: define your routines. Honestly, we would have the biggest bust ups all about freaking routines. And when you have young kids, it just exacerbates. In fact, young kids exacerbate pretty any problem you have anyway, just because they're incessant and relentless, but also amazing at the same time. So just for a quick bit of clarity, like, I have effectively my lions, so to speak, are every day, lions except Wednesdays and Saturdays. But in return, I put the kids to bed every night apart from Wednesday and Saturday. So that's our sort of like rolling rota, so to speak. So I do all the kid times, bed, but yeah, all that sort of stuff. So what I'm about to draw down here is my routine on every day other than a Wednesday and a Saturday. So I will wake up at 10 a.m. I don't set alarms. I'll just literally naturally wake up whenever. And then I will just probably start the morning in what most people say is the most unproductive way. I'll get my phone out and I will lie in bed with my phone and answer messages. And I'll answer messages till probably 10:30. And just trying to get all the, stuff out of the way, all the, urgent messages and stuff out of the way. And I know a lot of people say that this is really bad because you're starting the day with other people's agendas. But again, I've read all of that stuff and I've tried everyone else's methods, but you just got to work, do the thing that works best for you. For me, I am a bit antsy if I've got urgent messages, urgent and important messages. So I basically lie in bed till 10:30, doing as much productive stuff as I can. And then I'll literally go to my office, which is a 20-second walk from my bedroom, normally still in my pajamas. And I'll then work. I'll literally won't leave my desk from about 10:30 till normally about 1500. Because during this time here, I've got like live sessions and all that sort of stuff. And I know my health is probably getting a bit worse from this because I forget to eat breakfast. I don't know why. I'm just not hungry in the morning. And then probably walk the dog, etc. at 3 o'clock-ish, and then back in the desk, 15 on, so dog. 15:30 to 1700, I'm then more work, so it's work. And then it's kids. I'm gonna have to draw this, make it a line going this way. And then it's kids basically from 1700 till, I don't know, by the time they get to sleep, which is probably about 8 o'clock. I then chill out with Ellie until about 2200. And then from 2200 to probably 1:30 in the morning, I'm playing Age of Empires. Age of Empires, yeah, pretty much until 1:30 at night. 2 Definitive Edition. Now, and that's a recent thing. Normally what I do, what I used to do is work from 2200 till midnight. And then from midnight till about 1:30, I'll be playing speed chess online. And then I'll just sleep. So, for most people, they would think this is the most unproductive routine ever. And that, with this slob of a routine, you can never do anything. You can never be successful, blah, blah, blah. Well, I call bullshit. I'm relatively happy, and about my success. I'm not, a billionaire or anything, but it's all about productivity. It's all about productivity. I would much rather be game face and absolute beast it from sort of 10:30 to 1500 than, be awake 15 hours of the day. I'm really productive during the times that I'm awake because I'm like, right, I'm fully refreshed. And Wednesdays and Saturdays, I'm a walking zombie. Literally, I have to wait. So when I do the kids, on the Wednesdays and Saturdays, they wake up literally the second the first photon enters the room. And at the moment, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, literally, I'm a zombie from 5 in the morning till probably midday. So, that is, I guess, my routine. Now, the thing is, the reason why you can actually still be wildly successful, regardless of your routine, is because you need to take I'm like Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Did you all watch that fight when Mayweather had that boxing fight against Conor McGregor? For those that didn't, long story short, Mayweather just walked him down. So no matter what Conor did, in the first couple of rounds, he got some massive hits into Mayweather, but he gassed out and he got tired. And what Mayweather did was just carried on walking. He just kept on walking. He was like blocking, walk. And that is how I sort of look at my goals. And I have certain goals and targets to hit. And as I'm trying to walk them down, I'm getting massive right hooks and uppercuts to the chin because Murphy's Law loves me. And so I get hurdles and errors and all sorts of stuff and bills, like God knows how many bills and stuff I have to pay. But I just want to walk them down. And so the key thing I do is that I forgot where I got this quote from. I think it's an Olympian rowing, famous rowing boat person. Is it Redgrave? Stephen Redgrave? I'm not a sports person, but I think it's Redgrave. He said, what will move the boat faster? Will move... something like that. Move the boat. Oh, you can't see this, can you? Stand by. Share screen. So I'm always thinking, what will move the boat faster? And in business terms, what will move the boat faster is what can I do on the business today? So every single day, I will spend a minimum of 90 minutes of working on the business. So an absolute minimum. And when I say working on the business, that could be anything from creating SOPs, standard operating procedures, identifying tasks that you really shouldn't be dicking around with, and then simply offloading those tasks. It could be anything. Like, we all end up doing so many little itty-bitty tasks, but when you add them up, all of those tiny itty-bitty tasks, it could end up being 1 to 2 hours of your day. Like one little task that I'm doing at the moment, which I want to palm off ASAP, is, at the end of these wealth generation sessions every day, I then have to edit the video, upload it to YouTube, create the thumbnail, write the title, write what I did in the video, and that actually takes about half an hour of my time. And I don't mind doing it, but that's half an hour. And so I could easily palm that off to, hell, someone in the Philippines on $5 an hour or whatever. But then you can just do the productivity maths. And when I say productivity maths, basically, in my opinion, productivity maths is accumulation of time. So I then work out, okay, 30 minutes. May not sound much, but times that by 365. I'm getting my calculator out here. So 30 times 365, so it's 10,950 minutes a year, times 10, 109,500 minutes a decade. Divide that by hours. That's how many hours? Divide that by 24. There we go. So it may not seem much, but every 10 years, basically, I would be saving 76 days. And I look at everything on a decade basis. So what could you do in 76 days? So basically, for in a 10-year period, I'm wasting 76 days of my life dicking around with thumbnails, video thumbnails, video uploading, etc. And this is one task. Someone's a bit loud, but I don't know who that is. Yeah, if you're making a lot of noise, could you mute yourself, that would be grand. So one task is eating up 76 days of my life every decade. How many bullshit tasks are you wasting time on at the moment? I'm pretty sure everyone here has at least 20 tasks that they don't need to be doing. Like, I don't know what you do, but I promise you, like, I'm anally obsessed about, productivity maths. And I've done this for myself, and I think I've saved months, if not years, of my life from outsourcing various stuff. And I cannot stress this enough. So even though I may not look productive, when you look at my freaking schedule, I look like a freaking jobless bum when you look at this. But I am outsourcing as much as I can, and I'm always trying to spend at least 90 minutes a day working on the business. Now, when I'm working on the business, it's like, what will move the business forward? And it could be things like doing Facebook adverts for a new campaign, doing CRO, conversion rate optimization on your existing pages, and how to, even keeping customers. Because if you have a customer that, stays with you an extra year, that's effectively a free customer that you didn't need to buy, as in acquire from marketing. So, yeah. I guess that's the thing I wanted to really talk about. And in terms of having massive plans and stuff, so when I said, Mayweather walking down Conor McGregor, like, all I do is, or I don't actually do much planning anymore. I think from 2014 to 2018, I was like a super duper planner. And it's alright, got shit done. But then I realised I'm wasting too much time planning. I'm wasting too much time planning my life, so I guess since 2018 I've basically changed things, and I basically write a massive list, pretty much every 3 months. I write a massive list of about 90 to 100 things. Call it 100 things, basically. 100 things to implement. And that's it. I literally just write 100 things that I need to actually do, and things that will move the biz forward. Okay, and it could be, hire a new member of staff or whatever. And all I'm doing is I'm simply working through this list. Now, I don't have a list. So here's the other thing. When I had a list, like a physical piece of paper, or even worse, a spreadsheet, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And then you have to create a new habit of checking that piece of paper. If you're at a desk every day, it's quite handy because you can just be sat there. But what I do is I then just simply take this list, I then prioritize them in terms of important and urgent, and then I just simply bung it into my Google Calendar. So here is last week. It's actually a pretty chilled out week last week, to be fair. But I don't have like a to-do list. My to-do list is my Google Calendar, and that way I know I won't forget it, because I know, it bing bongs me, and I check things regularly. So, and then when I've got to the end of that list, or as I do stuff, new lists will probably pop out. Whee! And so I'll then just add it into my calendar. So that's pretty much it. And in fact, I can see that Adrian Whiteman is on Facebook. If you're still here, mate, I've got a fantastic story or thing that you taught me. I don't know if you're still here, Adrian. So years ago, this is when I left the Air Force. I ended up with at this recruitment company, and Adrian Whiteman was my upline. He was my immediate manager, and he took me under his wing, and is a lovely, lovely guy. And he basically. So yeah, Adrian, one of the things that you taught me, I now implement to my staff, or some of my team, depending on their roles. And basically, he's a recruiter, and he basically has. It's so simple. It is so simple. He has a big A4 folder, a notepad, and every single day every single page is a day. So I think this could be like Monday. the 12th or whatever, Tuesday the 13th, etc. And then he would have like, I can't remember how detailed it was, but I think it was just, all things that he needed to do on that day. And if he was on the phone taking notes, whatever, he'd be, doodling on that day, etc. And then that way he knows, like, he could look back in his notepad and go, okay, on this date, I did this, and I was on the. Oh, Raymond, sorry. Yeah, and then he could look back at his, his telephone doodles on that day. And so, for example, and this is one of the things I installed in Float Norwich. So this was, we have obviously lots of different. I think we have 4 members of staff in Float Norwich, obviously manning the desk at different times. And so I just installed, I wanted to bring it back to old school because we had some online systems that no one was checking and it just wasn't working. So I got this big old A4 notepad, and I just basically created the SOP that everyone on every day will write all the things that they've done and all the queries and phone conversations, etc. And then if there's something that someone needs to do, like on the 18th or whatever, that person may not be on the desk, so she would then simply flip forward to the 18th, write to do blah, call blah, or whatever, and then whoever's manning the desk on that day will then go, oh, okay, I've got a note, I need to call this person because of and it'll be a call this person, reference Monday the 12th of April, or whatever. And it's so simple, it's so basic. So yeah, I think that really helps. And so some members of staff, depending on their role, I get them to do that. And also, if you're a manager, it's handy because you can say, hey, show me your, last week on this day, what were your to-do points and what were your phone calls or whatever. And it's handy if you're sort of shadowing or monitoring new trainees, etc. So, yeah, I think ultimately we need to chill out a bit in terms of your planning. I think people are doing too much planning, with stuff, and too much planning, not actually doing anything. I think we all need to chill out a bit with our morning and day routine, etc. You just definitely Google, what sleep personality you have, because it's impossible converting a night owl into a morning owl. And trust me, I was in the military from the age of 18 to 25, where I did have to wake up early, and I freaking hated it. And guess what? 7 years of waking up early didn't change me into a morning person. It just made me grumpy. So yeah, any questions from what I've covered so far? Any questions at all? Let's have a look at the chat box. Any questions on anything? It doesn't have to be what we've spoken about today. Where is the chat box? Aaron's, okay, I don't know. Having this same issue with the EU banning pigments is done without solid data. Seems unlikely the artists are actually working together for once. Oh yeah, sorry, that was a previous question. Right, if there aren't any questions, we'll have to call it a day. Oh, and by the way, I get a lot of... So, in fact, here's another thing that I'm doing. In order just to save up my time, I get probably 10 to 15 personal Facebook messages a day, endless amounts of emails a day, and they're all asking, different questions. Sometimes it's the same question. Now, if they're students, I'm like, check the portal or whatever, but if you are not a WAP student or you're not a realistic trader student and you have a generic question, from now on, I'm just going to forward you to these daily live chats. And yeah, so from now on, I'm just going to be answering general live chats in general questions in these live chats. And if your question isn't that urgent that you can't be asked to come on to live chat to get it, then there we go. But that's me saving time. I'm like, remember, add up all of the minutes that you're spending every day, every year on bullshit activities, realize how much time you're wasting, and then outsource it. If you can outsource it for like £5-10 an hour, great, go for it. If it's something which you can't outsource, then keep doing it. Like, for example, I've never handed over my bank account details for all of my businesses to anyone else. I do not trust anyone to manage the bank details. And I spend a fair bit of time, I do the payroll myself. I don't have a financial controller or my accountant doing it. And the reason being is that I've been screwed. I've had a financial controller steal tens of thousands of pounds from me. Basically fraud and embezzlement. I don't know how this person's not in jail, but so yeah, some things you will have to keep. Right. So Alexander's asked, what is my buy order for Doge? I'm already in it. I got back into Doge at 5 cents. I'm hoping, as I explained in the other live session, if the whole crypto market gets to $10 trillion market cap, Doge should only go to about 25 cents if it maintains the same market share. So I'll probably exit Doge if it spikes up to 15 cents, 20 cents. But yeah. So that's that. Aave, I'm looking. So in fact, let's have a look at Aave. Here we go. So annoyingly, when it was around 360, so yeah. So I was looking for 300 to get back in, and I missed it. I don't know why. I missed the 300. However, we're in a bit of a compression here, so we're smashing into this resistance at the moment. So whether we're having, mind you, this is what's called a falling compression in a rising market, and a falling compression in a rising market is a bullish pattern. So what happens is that you tend to have, so yeah, we could very well have a bit of another move down to this probably 320, 300 level. We could see this, but long story short, a falling compression in a rising market is a bullish signal, and the signal normally goes to the top of the structure, so it will probably fanny around a bit for a while, but normally you have movement towards the apex. So this is where it gets really squeezed. We may even have a fake out to the downside, but whatever happens, normally probably 8 times out of 10 we'll make a move at least to the top of this structure, back to sort of 520ish. So yeah, if it gets back down to 320, 300, I'll probably want to get in again. But remember, Aave is part of my lending total pot. So before I had about 150k in just Aave, but I'm spreading that across a whole bunch of different lending coins. So not just Aave, I've got Comp. Comp is here. Got in at not the best time. It's gone down a bit. What else? I've got Ripio. Ripio credit. So got in there. That's gone up nicely. What is the other one? And XVS. So yeah, I've got in there. I need to add in where I've got in, but yeah. So I am spreading it. So that's that. Tron, I'm not getting into Tron. And Ripple, I've got like $1,000 in Ripple. Like bugger all. Not much at all. Remember, I want to get into coins which have high upside, and Ripple doesn't really have high upside. Or XRP. It's an interbank lending. It's an interbank currency. It's not really for the publics, and for those. For banks that are transferring billions, they don't want something which will, fluctuate too much. So ultimately, what banks will probably end up doing is sending funds via stable coins, and then Ripple will probably be used a lot less. But there is a lot of hype and marketing around Ripple, so I mean, yeah. So that's that. Okay, Amanda has asked, what would you do with £1 million if it had to last you 30 plus years? How would you safeguard it from financial stuff going on? You can't just put all that into crypto. Oh, damn. Yeah, I just put it all in crypto. Or put it in a stable coin and stake it and get 15-20% ROI from that. So if I can't put it in, I mean, I'm different. I would just put it into business. I would just reinvest it in businesses. Or set up my own business. Like if you had £1 million to play with, like you can set up a brand new business properly. Like, and when I say properly, as in you start the business with 5 members of staff. Hell, you start with a general manager, an ops manager, a head of sales, head of marketing, head of whatever. So you literally start the whole project with your A team, and then you don't actually run the business. So you then become, more of a silent investor. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to do another session just on that, Amanda. It's too big a question. There's so many things you can do, but I wouldn't touch stocks, I wouldn't touch bonds. But yeah, at the moment, crypto. Rob has said, have followed you since 2017, and you always seem very positive, and wondered what do you do to maintain your positive mental attitude? Oh, thanks, mate. I treat life like a video game. That's it. I literally, I mean, the more I read about, like, I know it sounds really weird, but I read a lot of physics magazines, so, you know, New Scientist and stuff like that, and there seems to be an increasing sort of consensus on simulation theory. I mean, that's aside the point, but I treat life like a video game. I'm a gamer, and I'm pretty good at the video games that I play. And the techniques I use to get good at video games, I'm just trying to do it in real life. So, like, I want to get good at money. Or, like, back in the day, I was like, okay, money is a video game, basically. What do I need to do to hack money? Okay, I need these skills. Right. I acquired those skills and then implemented them. Okay, and just do fail, learn, pivot until you hit your goals. Like, when you fail at a video game, you don't cry in the corner. You just hit reset and crack on it. You know, just get on it. And if you fail faster than most people, you can pivot faster than most people. So, I honestly, you will not meet someone that has failed more than me. I cannot stress how many fuck ups I do on a regular basis. Here is a recent error that I made. It's not really a business error, but apparently, my personal admin is shit to the point where this is too personal a story. I can't share that because there are other parties involved. Sorry. Sorry. I don't really have a filter, so I have to, be more considerate of others. But long story short, I just fail. And yeah, like, okay, so here's a business story of, like, I guess a learning nugget when it comes to money. So going back to the video game of money, a lot of people are implementing methods with money that they learned from their parents or school or stuff that they're sort of learning themselves. But when you look at people that have nailed the game of money, i.e. billionaires, you'll realise that billionaires are masters of capital allocation and masters of capital arbitrage. That's the key thing. Capital allocation and capital arbitrage. And I realised this a few years, probably about 5-6 years ago, and I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get good at capital arbitrage and capital allocation? And so some of the things I realised was, so billionaires, they simply move their capital into things that derive cash flow. That's the first thing. So I was like, okay, what makes cash flow? Businesses. Sweet. Okay. So most of my capital allocation is simply putting capital into businesses that derive cash flow. And that's why I like, payment plan type businesses, because if I have a business which, I know I can acquire a new customer at X pounds, and over a 2-year period that customer is going to be spitting out 2x pounds, then great, it's easy money. I then go and spend as much money on Facebook as I can. So that's sort of capital allocation. Or another way you can look at it is, salespeople. Like, if you have a business and you are thinking about getting a salesperson, definitely do, because it should be a cost positive or neutral at least thing. Because let's take a recent bunch of salespeople. I've got them on at £2,000 per month plus commission. Okay. But a lot of people look at that as oh my God, £2,000 a month, that's like 24 grand a year or whatever. But it's not. It's always a 3-month risk. So when you're hiring a new salesperson, you're brutally honest up front and go, look, this for me, so here's my risk to reward ratio for you. And I literally get a piece of paper, or if it was on Zoom, I'll get my doodle pad out. In fact, I'll do this. So can you see oh yeah, you can see my doodles. And so if it's a Zoom call, in fact, it was a Zoom call last time I did this, I'll go, look, here's, I'm going to lift up my skirt. And I can't say that anymore, can I? I'll lift up my kilt, and here is my risk to reward seesaw when it comes to you, okay? As in you. So my risk is, this is a 3-month experiment, okay? So I'm paying you £2,000 plus commissions, but let's just look at the base salary. So for me, the risk is £6,000. And you'll probably make some other sales. So I don't know. In fact, the commission comes out of the sales, so it doesn't matter. So my real risk with you is £6,000, and plus I don't know, 10 hours of my time in training you and embedding you into the business, blah blah blah. So that's my risk. Therefore, over the next 3 months, you need to bring in a minimum of 6K from sales, and yeah, so. And obviously, you'll know what targets your salesperson should hit, and so basically, it could be like this. So if you do your minimum activity over the next 3 months, you should bring in the business £12,000, and therefore it'll offset my risk, my time plus the actual cost of your seat. And if you haven't delivered and you haven't hit the set targets by this date, the 31st of July 2017 or 2021 or whatever, then I'm afraid this position is terminated, and you up front straight away with that, and so therefore you both enter this temporary 3-month contract with this in mind, and to the point where I've had it where sometimes in the middle of month 2 they realise this definitely isn't for me, and then they leave. And it's great when staff leave. It's not when great. It's if an underperforming member of staff leaves, it's really good, because then you don't have to go through the redundancy or the firing process, and it's good for both parties. You always leave on good terms. But if a new salesperson is hitting their minimum targets, and after 3 months have brought in £12,000, well, great. What have I just done? This is an example of capital allocation. I've effectively allocated £6,000 to this person, and this person has spat out £12,000. So when you get this system right, then it's like, and that eventually you'll know your ratios, your salesperson ratio. So for every sales person you have, it equals X amount of revenue per month. So that's an easy way to scale your business. So I've got a friend, in fact, my mentor. 1 second. And business doesn't have to be crazy. So my mentor, he's about to IPO his business, and even during 2020, his revenue was $35 million, which is nuts. And so I think off the top of my head, 2019 revenue was like $20 million. 2020 revenue was like 30 something. I think it was between 30 to 40. I can't remember. But all he's doing, the only way he's scaling up his business is salespeople. It's simple as that, and it's nothing fancy. He's like, right, for every salesperson, it's giving me X amount of dollars. Well, why don't I just go and get 100 salespeople? And so he went out and got 100 salespeople. And guess what? 100 salespeople turned into, dollars, X, cubed or whatever. And so then he was like, okay, this works for 100 salespeople. Why don't I go and try and get 500 salespeople? And so the only way he's scaling his business is through salespeople. So this is great capital allocation. So now let's talk about capital arbitrage. So this is a recent story which I can talk about. So, and this is a very small version of this story. So back in, I think it was in March 2020, March, April, something like that. One of my businesses, what was it? Just gonna get. I think I did it yesterday. Yeah, here we go. So, can you see my screen? I had a little. So with the whole crash type stuff, HMRC gave business owners the option to delay paying their VAT for a quarter or two. I think it was 1 quarter or 2 quarters. I can't remember. For a year. And I was like, game on, baby. This is just an amazing opportunity for capital arbitrage. So in that quarter, for RT, so the realistic trader, I can't remember which quarter it was. And in fact, off the top of my head, I can't remember if it was 1 quarter or 2 quarters that they could delay. But basically, for this quarter, I could delay paying it for 12 months. So I was like, sweet. So 12 months ago, I put in my calendar, pay RT VAT from last year, which is this, 26,700 and whatever, due by the 7th of January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay. And I was like, and so here's my game plan back then. And the game plan, so let's just call it 26 grand to be easy. So I could then offset that for 12 months. What's the APR? 0%. Okay. And then I knew that in 12 months' time, I could then set up a payment plan, which is what I did yesterday. So yesterday, I logged on to the HMRC government gateway type thing, and it said I owe 26 grand or whatever, pay it today. But it then gave me an option to set up a 10-month payment plan. So now, this 10-month payment plan, so I'm now then pushing, so I've effectively spread this out for the next 10 months. And what's the APR? 0%. So when you look at this from a capital arbitrage point of view, I could have paid that VAT quarter back then, a year ago, and then I would have lost £26,000, even though it's not mine, it's the Crown's money. But for me, I saw this as an opportunity to keep hold of 26 grand of the Crown's money, knowing that I could offset this for probably 2 years at 0% APR. So what the Crown has basically done, thanks HMRC, they've basically given me a £26,000 loan at 0% APR for 2 years. At least 2 years. Now, if you're focusing on money, the video game of money, this is like getting, go past go and collect £200 as you do it. Now, this is where capital arbitrage and capital allocation go hand in hand. Because what is the risk to reward ratio here? Well, my new mission, so my video game mission, so to speak, was Siam. Can you grow 26k over 2 years? 2 years, more than 0%. Like, please, does everyone understand what I'm getting at here? Does this make sense, folks? Basically, the government gave me a 2-year loan, a 26 grand for 2 years, and all I had to do was make more than 0% APR or ROI. And what did I do? I plonked that 26 grand in Ether back in mid 2020. So where is trading view? Here we go. Where is this first purchase? Yeah, here we go. So I actually probably kept hold of it for a few months, and then I wanted to get into Ether. So I put 20 back then in November 2020. I put that 26 grand into Ether. So I think it came to $35,000. Divide that by $439. So I end up with 79 Ether, and that 79 Ether is now worth $1,800 times $1,800. So what's actually happened is I've turned that £26,000 into 143,000. Oh, sorry, that's dollars. Get rid of the call it 130. Yeah. So I've basically turned 26k into 130k from this free 2-year loan, and it's still growing because I'm now paying this 26 grand over 10 months. So what is my Ether going to do over the next 10 months? Probably a lot more. So this is one tiny example, and I'm doing this across the board, not just RT, with loads of different businesses. And so I'm not just doing VAT arbitrage. I mean, this is just one tiny example, but this is what I'm trying to get your mind into. Trying to get your mind into the mindset of capital arbitrage. This is why I will borrow money all day long at 10% APR. You could loan me £1 million and I'll give you 10% APR without hesitation, because I know I can grow money more than 10% a year through my businesses. Not just ignoring crypto, but through business, I'll just grow it more than 10%. So this is one example of treating life as a video game. So I think this is a really long answer to Rob's question of how to remain so positive, because I don't take my life too seriously. I'm just playing a video game, and everyone has different things that they want to do. And also, I like problems. It's probably why I attract problems, because I actually like problems. Jim Rohn, one of the best, self-help people on the planet, he's dead now. One of the quotes that stayed with me a long time ago was, "Don't wish that life was easier, wish that you were better." So every time I have a new hurdle, whether it's a staff problem or a business problem or a money cash flow problem, I don't wish, I wish I won the lottery, because that's just mental laziness. I think, sweet, I've got an issue here, I'm going to overcome it. And then guess what? When you overcome it, you've learned something. So this is why when I saw that video of Ty Lopez, I made a video about this probably a couple of years ago, but Grant Cardone was doing this thing where he was basically getting in a car with random celebrities and just interviewing them whilst driving around. And he interviewed Ty Lopez. He got Ty Lopez in his car, and he was like, "So Ty, tell me about your..." I can't do an American accent, but he was like, "Tell me about your hiccups in business. What are the biggest hiccups you've done?" And for about 3 minutes, Ty Lopez was like, "Well, I don't think I've had any issues." And I was like Carl Pilkington going, "Bullshit. You cannot run a business and not have issues or problems." So this is why I think Ty Lopez is a bit of a fraud, because you cannot have no hiccups in business. It's impossible. So yeah, I like errors. I love it. So whereas a lot of people, they'll look at an error and go, "Wow, the world is against me. The world hates me. I'm shit. I have no skills. Or whatever." We'll go out and learn the skills. No one has any excuses these days when you have free access to YouTube and Google. So, anyway, damn it, this 30-minute session is now 52 minutes and rising. So, okay, last example, because it's a really good one. So Alexander said, "You're sharing positive examples. Could you share a few negative examples of when you lost money on capital arbitrage?" Yeah, loads. Like when I've invested in members of staff, there's loads of examples, where after 3 months I've lost that, $6,000 or 10 grand or whatever. In terms of capital arbitrage with playing with... So here's the thing. When I've done investing type capital arbitrage, I haven't actually lost... I can't think of an example I have lost money, because like with that VAT money, for example, I tend to only... If I am going to put it in the markets, I put it on a sure thing. And back in November 2020, Ethereum, as far as I could see, was a sure thing. I was like, there's no way it's going down over the next 2 years. Remember, I always look at things over at least a 2-year play. So yeah, crypto could have gone down within a year, but over a 2-year play, it was extremely bullish that it would go up. So yeah, it's a good question. I can't think of any massive capital arbitrage errors. Other than, yes I can. Sorry, what am I talking about? The week before lockdown in March 2020, I bought a £35,000 full body cryotherapy chamber for Float Norwich. A week later, full lockdown. It's barely been used for over a year. That wasn't a good capital arbitrage. So that's £35,000 that is just parked in this massive machine in Float Norwich. That's a bad capital arbitrage. Also, in the same week, a week before lockdown, I blew 50 grand in buying a new business. So I bought 35%. Actually, I sent £50,000 and I bought 35% of a new business. Lockdown hit, boom, that business got hit too. So that's 50k wasted. there was another occasion where I lost another 50k buying the UK's biggest pottery company, and that company quickly went bust. So yeah, Hudson and Middleton's if you want to Google it. There's actually, when it's mergers and acquisitions, I've lost endless amounts of money, loads. Another good example of negative capital arbitrage is when I put 400 grand into a pre-seed IPO investment where it was guaranteeing 100% ROI within 6 months, and if it didn't happen within 6 months, I could get my 400k back, and it was in contract. It was an airtight contract. So there was me thinking, I've got 400 grand that I can put into this. So I put 400 grand into this pre-seed IPO thing. 6 months later, it didn't happen, and I went, I'm going to exercise the long stop clause here. I'd like my 400 grand back, please. And guess what happened? The person went, no. So 5.5 years later, I got the 400k back. So yeah, that's probably the worst example where I had 400 grand of actual capital parked there doing nothing. The opportunity cost I lost with that was just ridiculous. It was just horrendous. Like, I probably lost a high 8 figures from not having that 400 grand to play with. So yeah, I think we're going to call that a day. Aaron said, just wondering if you've heard of Incent. Nope, I haven't. Crypto relating to video game streamers. Nah, not familiar. Cool. I think I'll see you there. Hopefully. Oh, Jennifer said, when is the next test drive starting? Tomorrow. So yeah, send them to therealistictrader.com. Thank you, Jennifer. Very much appreciated. Right. Has today been helpful, or has this been a very unhelpful rant? Feedback does help, folks. Otherwise, I'll just keep on ranting and talking about useless stuff. Because in my head, I think this is helpful, but...
Put the kettle on. I'll come down.
Cool. Make me a brew. Yeah. So, thanks, folks. Cheers, Aaron. Much appreciated. Again, if anyone plays Age of Empires, please let me know. I'll pop you into the WhatsApp group. There's about 15 of us. It's good. So, yeah. Toodles. See ya. Bye.